Good. Yeah, I am live. Sorry. Good evening, everybody, and how are we all doing? It is Sunday, the 15th of December, 2024. Hope you're well. Hope you've had a great weekend. Weather has been on our side this weekend, or certainly here in Littlehampton, where we've been able to get down and do a bit of work down on the allotment and in the garden. Hopefully, you've done the same. However, the big event is just around the corner, Christmas, of course. And I'm sure many of you are thinking about cooking Christmas dinner. I personally, I'm cooking Christmas dinner for one, two, three, four, five, six, plus Roxy of us on Christmas. Quick calculations there. On Christmas Day, going to be turkey and all the trimmings and everything. But it's a bit of a challenge. I don't know if you've ever done it. It's certainly a challenge. I've done it for a few years now. I'm getting quite good at it. But I want to hear your tips and tricks on how to cook Christmas dinner. But before that, let's see if we've got anybody out there. We've got Turbo Stream saying, "Good evening, Veg Podcasters. Good evening to you." Rob is there saying, "Hello. Cold here tonight," he says. Adrian is there saying, "Hello, Richard and all. Hello to you." We have got Hargrave Gas. Evening, everyone. Hope you've had a great week as we wait for the weather to drop further. We could do with a bit of a chill. I'm going to say that. We could just do with a little bit of a chill. Might sound a bit counterproductive, but I think we need it. Allotted Chef, aka Nathan, is there. Evening, all. Good evening to you. We've got Kate there. Good evening, Veg Army. Good evening to you. Stuart Jackson is there. Evening, Richard and Veg Army. Hope we are all well. Good evening to you. We have got, who else have we got? Here we go. Indeed, here we go. Digwell, ho, ho, ho. Just seen Santa. Santa! I was about to jump into an explosion there, but suddenly remembered that somebody might complain. Graham Arnold, evening, everyone. Good evening to you. Anna Jones, good evening, gardeners. Good evening to you. Rebecca is there. Good evening, Richard and the gang. Had a nice sort of my seeds today, ready for 2025. Good stuff. Have you got lots and lots of seeds left over? I bet you do. Scott is there. Seed to table, plot 13. Good evening, all. Good evening to you. What else have we got? Richard Golding, hello, sir. Hello to you. Anna Jones. I think I may have said that already. Rob is there with his first tip. Let someone else cook it. It's not about that. Good evening, says Gary. Good evening to you. Richard says, "I'm doing turkey in the green egg. I don't know how it's going to turn out." I'd love to see how well that turns out, doing the turkey in a green egg, a type of barbecue. I've cooked turkey in a barbecue before. It's delicious, I have to say. Turbo Stream says, "Done absolutely nothing this week. My painful shoulder last week turned to be a neck joints compressing a nerve. Had to see a chiropractor this week. Thank you. Thankfully, now on the mend." You've been through a lot this year, haven't you, Turbo Stream? Or a lot lately, certainly. Stuart, Santa only comes to the good list. LOL. Won't be coming to mine then, I bet. So let's get into it. Who here, put your hands up if you're going to be cooking the Christmas dinner this year? As I said, I will be doing it all, not all myself. Amanda is going to be there to help me, of course, but I will be pretty much taking control of Christmas dinner and cooking the turkey and all the veg that goes with it. I've ordered my turkey. I'm getting it fresh from a butcher on Christmas Eve, and as soon as I get it home, I'm going to be into the preparation, getting it ready for the following day. So who here, put your hands up if you're going to be cooking the Christmas dinner. Chili Kate says the chilies are here. Hello, everyone. Good evening to you. David says, "Evening all. Good evening to you." Hargrave Gas has got the thumbs up there. I guess that means you are going to be cooking Christmas dinner. David Williams says, "Yep, the wife mainly, but me as a backup." Indeed, indeed. Digwell, doesn't surprise me. Digwell's got his thumbs up, but it doesn't surprise me at all. I'm sure Digwell can cook a fantastic Christmas dinner. Rebecca says, "Yep, but not a big fuss this year, keeping it simple." That sounds interesting, Rebecca. How are you keeping it simple? What are you doing to keep it simple? I'd like to know more on that, because I think that's a big tip that we can all learn from, actually. Keep it simple. Turbo Stream says, be glad to see the back of 2024. New Year's resolution is to stay away from the doctors. Been a bad year health-wise. I think you need to see a doctor if you need to see a doctor, though. Thumbs up from Allotted Chef. So quite a few of you are going to be cooking Christmas dinner. Chili Cake says, no Christmas dinner this year. It's going to be a weird but very different Christmas. What are you doing so different? What are you doing so different? Digwell says, no choice when you live on your own. LOL, indeed. Graham says, I feel sorry for all in the Digwell house this evening. All the Brussels sprouts he ate earlier. Did he eat a lot of Brussels sprouts earlier? I haven't caught up on things. Rebecca says, only cooking for two. So in a year's... since we moved into this house nearly 10 years ago, excuse me, let me clear my throat. Before that, we would, both my wife Amanda and I, parents are divorced. So for years, as a child, I would spend a 1 year Christmas Day with my mum, the following day, Boxing Day with my dad, and vice versa every year. And when I got with Amanda, we had to split that between 4 sets of parents. It was a little tricky, to say the least. When we moved into this house, I just went, you know what? I've had enough of all this running around at Christmas. We're going to start spending Christmas at home. And I've got to say, I'm glad we did it, because Amanda's mum does join us, because otherwise she's on her own. But we have really enjoyed just not rushing around to try and see everybody every year and not really enjoy the day. So when you're only cooking for two, I don't think that's a bad thing, actually. I really do enjoy just being here at home these days. Digwell says, you can be proud to know that you were part of the YouTube first. Talking about his membership, I'm guessing there. Stuart says, I only do the washing up. I let the better chef cook the Christmas lunch. Indeed, indeed. Washing up is very important, though. Food Forest Permaculture, greetings, Earthling. Happy holidays. Happy holidays to you too. Toby Stream says, I don't do the traditional Christmas dinner, only me to cook for, so normally cook haggis, but might just do roast vegetables and chicken. Indeed, indeed. So Nathan has actually come back with got as much prep done, get as much prep done the day before. So this is actually one of the big tips that I'm doing. I'm lucky enough to have actually taken Christmas Eve off work this year. Usually it's a half day, but I've taken the whole day off, and I'm going to try and get as much prep work as I've done. So in the morning, I'm going to go down to our butcher's, excuse me, and collect our turkey that I've ordered. I've gone for a whole turkey because I kind of prefer that 5 kilogram turkey, which should be enough for all the people we got to feed, as well as some leftovers. I'll get that turkey home. I'm going to make my stuffing with some sausage meat I've also ordered, and stuff that with some sausage meat and some sage and various other things and to make stuffing. And then I'm going to cover it all over with butter, a lemony parsley butter, and then lay my bacon over the top of the turkey breast, ready to go in the oven the following day. Well, actually, it will go in the oven the night before, but I will set, this is my first tip when it comes to the turkey, I will actually set my oven to start cooking first thing in the morning, so I don't actually have to rush and get up to do that. I can get up at a fairly leisurely pace. Then I'm going to hope to try and get a bit more prep done before. I'm hoping I'm going to be able to, I don't know if, I think somebody has suggested doing this before actually, parboil the roast potatoes the day before. I believe you can do that. Can you tell me if that is going to work? Kate says, lamb this year. I'm making lemon cheesecake the night before, so a bit easier. Oh, making more lemon cheesecake. Lovely, lovely. And the night before works well for that. And that's why I stay on my own Christmas Day. I cannot be split 3 ways. It is a nightmare. But it's the joys of having a large family at the end of the day. Hands down for me, we go to the in-laws and we have it on Xmas Eve. Have family traditions so there isn't one person cooking Christmas Day and everyone can enjoy the gifts, toys. Good idea. Good idea. I mean, it is a bit of a nightmare. I mean, it's a lot of effort for one day. And I'm hearing on the news in this last week that a lot of people now are finding the cost of a Christmas dinner to be so expensive they're asking other people who come to contribute, which I don't think is a bad thing. But my turkey, including sausage meat and bacon, will cost about £105. So it is quite an expensive bit of meat, but it is fresh from a butcher. Wife only cooks for two, but it's like a feast. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. We've got to have leftovers at the end of the day. I think that's my favourite part about the Christmas dinner is the leftovers. Scott says, I'm with Nathan, prep, and more prep. So let's find out more about the prep. Tell us more what you would do about the prep. Digwell says, parboil the spuds, carrots, parsnips, sprouts, swede, etc. on Christmas Eve. Do you parboil parsnips? I've always just put them straight in the pan. Interesting. Although the sprouts and swede, I can definitely do the day before and just warm that through. Never thought about parboiling parsnips. Turbo Stream, the build up to Christmas and the expectation can put a lot of pressure on the cook. After all, it's just a roast dinner. I don't really like turkey that much. You haven't tried my turkey then. That's all I'm going to say to that. I like turkey, but it is a very very dry meat. That's why it's a very gamey, tough meat. That's why I put the bacon over it to let all that bacon juice also, as it cooks, all that bacon fat cook into the breast as well to keep it a bit more moist. What have we got? Beddoes, evening veggies, trouble with buffering. Not a surprise, gang kids watching films and playing games online. That does take a lot of power out of your internet, doesn't it, grandkids? Good show, that. What was a good show, says Digwell. Scott says, my biggest tip would be to brine the turkey. Locks in flavour and moisture. I've been reading a lot about brining, actually. I've never brined my turkey before, which basically where you stick your turkey in some salt water. I've always thought salt water would draw out a load of the moisture, so I find this a little bit interesting. Personally, anyway. Now, Digwell says, cook the stuffing separate and stuff the bird with citrus fruits to keep it very moist. Lift the skin and pack our over with a herby butter. Let the bacon take care of the outside. See, I'm the type of person, I like my stuffing actually cooked inside the bird. I don't know why. I like it. And I never get a moist bird. I never get a dry bird. Sorry, mine's always moist. So, yeah, I'm with you. Well, I know what you're saying, but yeah. Shoulder willing, I was going to be, says Turbo Stream, I was going to be for a ride on my bike as usual. Roast dinner, fed next door's cat, and head to the brothers for nipples in the evening. Nipples in the evening. If you parboil parsnips, they roast better. I'm going to try that. I've never really thought of that. Turbo Stream says, oh no, I've read that one, haven't I? Kate says, to save cooker space, use an electric steamer for the pre-roasting of the veg. Yeah, I mean, we're lucky. We've got a range cooker, so we've got basically a gas oven and an electric oven, so we don't really struggle with space. But my idea here that I'm going to be doing this year is actually to get the turkey out the oven 2 hours before serving, which should give us enough time to roast all the veggies, the potatoes. We've got to do Yorkshire puddings as well this year because we've got a vegetarian with us and we don't want her to miss out. But yeah, we also do have a steam oven which we've used in the past for cooking vegetables. It actually does do quite well. I might do that for parboiling. As Graham said, I've always parboiled parsnips. I've never done it. I'm going to try it this year though. So see if it works. My wife does all the veg on Christmas Eve. Yep, I think that seems to be the thing that everyone's saying. Prep the vegetables the night before. I freeze my parsnips and don't parboil them. They seem to roast okay. I'm going to give it a go. I really want to give it a go because I think there's something in this. Hello, Richard, and everyone says Idaho. Hello, Idaho. Welcome along. Wife always does stuffing balls. We'll probably do stuffing balls as well, but for the actual turkey, because I like my stuffing to have all that sort of turkey fat and everything to work together. I mean, nothing gets wasted. Nothing gets wasted. We'll be making turkey gravy out of all the juices, everything in the bottom of the pan as well. So we'll get plenty out of that one meal. We'll make after we've had our Christmas dinner, we'll take all the meat off the bone. We'll then turn those bones into turkey stock as well. So we always get plenty of food out of one thing. I deleted my comment as autocorrect changed nibbles to the other word. Did make me laugh. Nibbles in the evening. I mean, why not? That did make me laugh. I did see Turbo Stream's replacement, but I had to keep it because I thought it was funny. Rebecca says, I always pre-boil my roast potatoes, coat in goose fat, then freeze. Then on the day, place in a bacon tray, 45 minutes, so easy. I'm going to be pre-boiling mine. Definitely going to be doing that. Can't use goose fat this year because of the vegetarian, which seems a shame because I do prefer goose fat. So I'm wondering what fat I could use, what oil I could use to roast my potatoes in instead of goose fat because of a vegetarian who's joining us. Any ideas? Any ideas? I'm thinking probably olive oil or something like that. Over on Instagram, Debs Benny has joined. Welcome along. Lovely to see you. Rob says we have 3 meats. Do you go for the 3 meat roast? We did contemplate doing a leg of lamb as well, but nah. We're just sticking to the turkey. Kate says an essential is a Bucks Fizz to start the day. Yep, we have Bucks Fizz. Potting orange juice in the alcohol just makes it a breakfast drink. Yeah, Bucks Fizz and orange juice. I always have pate on like crackers for breakfast as well because I quite like that. And something else that my wife does as her sort of Christmas tradition now is, for starters, she does caviar on blinis, which is quite nice. I have to say, I was a bit unsure at first, but we like it. Scott says, I would say ignore cooking temps. What should we replace if we're going to ignore cooking temps? What would we replace them with then, please, Scott? Because what I tend to do, again, I'm coming back to the turkey, is I stick my thermometer in there. I normally cook it for about 3.5 hours, and when it's ready, I know. Coffee for me. Got to have some rum to get the day going. Wobbly coffee. Sorry, Digwell says. I don't know what we're talking about when it comes to alcohol. Any high temp oil with a high smoking point, not olive oil. So, yeah, sunflower oil, would that work? I wonder. I did order some special ale in from the Isle of Skye to go with my lunch. Can't wait. Excellent. I wonder what coconut oil would be like. What about coconut oil? Because I think we had a couple of huge tubs of coconut oil. Perhaps that would work with our roast potatoes. What do the chefs think on that? I reckon that would work. Rob says I have to have a glass of wine ready for June when she does the gravy. Yeah, wine added to the gravy. I mean, we don't, as you know, we don't really drink here. We might have a glass of cider, but we certainly don't drink wine. It's not one that I've ever really enjoyed for some reason. I don't know. Everybody loves wine, but I just can't stand the stuff for some reason. No, we have chicken, lamb, and pork. Free meat. Delicious, absolutely delicious. Food Forest Permaculture says parsnips and lovage lightly steamed and dipped in olive oil, dropped on the barbie. My day stops, for I have the spotted prawns from the ocean. Winter there is prawn, parsnip, and lovage. That sounds delicious. That sounds absolutely delicious. Whereabouts are you, Food Forest Permaculture? Whereabouts in the world are you, please? Andrew Norris has joined all the way from Croatia. Evening, one and all. Hi there, Richard. Hello, Andrew. Hope you are well, my friend. Lovely to see you. Scott says, I would say ignore cooking temps for turkey. 75C in the UK, 83C in Scotland. Take it out well before and pot a probe in, and will reach recommended temps when rested. Yeah, I'm thinking this year Normally, I rest my turkey for about an hour, but this year, 2 hours. 2 hours. Digwell says avocado, canola, sunflower, peanut oils are good for roasting. Good choices. Good choices. Yeah. Trouble is, I don't know if anybody else. I open the cupboard where we keep our oils, and I've got so many different oils. I never know. Oh, it's not that I never know which one to use. It's that I've got so many different types of oil that it becomes a bit. Well, our cupboard is just full of it. We've got rapeseed oil. We've got chili rapeseed oil. We've got smoked rapeseed oil. We've got sunflower oil, olive oil, coconut oil, avocado oil, garlic oil. I think, I mean, a list can just go on and on with all the different types of oils that we have in our cupboard. A bit too many in some ways. Stuart says, not having turkey this year, chicken and ham instead. Nice, nice. I've got to admit, I think a lot of people are steering away from turkey this year, from what I understand, because it's just so expensive, or people are finding it very expensive. Andrew says, I only cook with olive oil. Dalmatia is full of olive grows. I tend to only cook with olive oil myself, depending on what I'm doing, though. Right on the bottles, why you bought the oils. Why did I buy the oils? Because they look good, is my answer. We've got some of the ones we bought from Clarkson's Farm just because we were there and we like the oils that they had there. We like all the different oils. So that's generally why. 200 degrees C, not seen it smoking in my oven, says Turbo Stream. What's that? What haven't you seen smoking in your oven? So let's bring this back. Let's bring this back. And so far, we've spoken a lot about parboiling and prepping the day before, but what about the actual day? What about the day that you are going to be cooking? One of my biggest tips, and I said this earlier, we set our oven up to come on early in the morning and cook when I'm still in bed, basically. We wake up to that smell of cooking turkey. That for me has been the biggest tip, because I haven't got to get up at the crack of dawn just to put the oven on. It does it for me. And that is something I've learned a long time ago. It just makes life so much easier. What have we got? Digwell says best roast spuds cook at a higher temperature. I agree with that. I mean, once the turkey's cooked, we crank our oven up to get as high as it'll go, gas mark 8, gas mark 9, and get the roasties cooking. For me, the roast potatoes are the second most important part of Christmas dinner after the turkey, in my opinion. You're welcome to disagree with me on that, but to me, that's the second most important part. Anna Jones says, all my family are vegetarians and we all use, excuse me, I'm so windy tonight. I have to apologize for this. We all use olive oil for roasting. Interesting, very interesting. Southern Vancouver Island, British Columbia, Canada, marine temperate climate. I know where you are, Vancouver Island. Just trying to think if I've got anything. Are you near Victoria or near where did my granddad live? Near Sydney. Anywhere like that. I say that because my grandparents used to live near Sydney. My other family used to live near Victoria, my aunt and uncle. I think my cousin still lives in Victoria. So I know southern Vancouver Island very well. And I know the temperature. It's absolutely lovely, lovely. And what was the gardens there? It'll come to me one day. Scott says, as Steve says, you want an oil that has a high smoke point. Absolutely. Which oil would you recommend? I just cook a bit longer, Digwell. Seems to work for me. 2 olive trees here at the food forest with, olive trees. Do they produce olive oil as well? My biggest tip is to make time plan, but leave the gaps for opening prezzies. We tend to do our opening of the prezzies after dinner here, something to look forward to all day. Partly because I'm so busy cooking anyway. Got to walk the dog, cook everything, prep everything, and get everything done. It's just nice. Once I'm cooked, Amanda, I have to admit, Amanda does the washing up, but I just flake out in the afternoon and go to sleep. You missed my comment about olive oil, Richard. What did you say? What did you say? I can't see it anywhere. Digwell says, I roast my spuds, parsnips, carrots, etc. after the bird is out and resting for the hour or so. So crank the heat up. Yeah, that's exactly what I do. Cook the turkey and say that takes a long time, but on a fairly low heat compared to what you want the rest of that. As I said, I'm going to be resting my turkey for about 2 hours. So it'll come out the oven. I'll cover it with tin foil, then over with a load of tea towels to really keep that heat in, and then crank that oven up, roast my potatoes, roast my carrots, roast my parsnips, cook the, what did I say? Those pancake things. It'll come to me in a minute. Cook those. Trying to think what else. Peas and sweet corn. Well, actually, that might be a good point. What vegetables are you going to be having on your Christmas dinner this year? Let's ask that question. Roast is most important, Richard. I'm with you. Everyone goes mad if we mess them up. With you as well. Scott says, but I'm no cook. But I'm not cooking a traditional Christmas meal for me, so it works at 200 degrees C. Indeed. Food Forest Permaculture. Yes, just outside Victoria, 20 minutes from Sydney. Probably very close to where my aunt and uncle used to live in. Gary says, I dug up some late potatoes today, intended for Christmas dinner roast potatoes, but was very disappointed. They weren't very big and lots of pest damage. See, the potatoes I'm hoping to use, and perhaps Digwell, you can tell me, it's the potatoes that we used in the single seed potato challenge. Are they going to be any good for roasting? I think they will be. They're the ones I'm planning to use this year because they've actually been some of my largest potatoes that we still have available. Rob says if I was cooking, we would have two ready meals Sunday lunches. Nothing wrong with that. My cat just brought me a freshly caught vole, says Idaho. She laid it in the porch. I looked, she meowed, and then proceeded to eat it. That's her Christmas dinner sorted. Good cat indeed. Turbo Stream says, I said I usually roast things at 200 degrees C with a drizzle of olive oil, Richard. 200 degrees C with olive oil. Excellent. Good. Digwell says, don't forget to pop the turkey tray on a few layers of tea towels too. Yeah, of course. Towels, well, yeah, you get the idea. It's just to retain some of that heat so it rests really, really well. So I think, is it Gordon Ramsay who says it sucks up some of that juices? I'm not sure how true that is, but I certainly find relaxing it will work. SSPC spuds ideal for roasters. We're sorted for those in. Excellent. Roast potatoes, roast parsnips, potatoes, sprouts, and carrots, maybe some peas. Forgot about sprouts, but yep, sprouts. We're having swede, we're having potatoes, parsnips, carrots, peas, sweet corn, beetroot, turnip, a lot of root vegetables. But to be honest, this is just going to be everybody helps himself to whatever they want. We've got the food growing, leeks, lots of leeks as well. We've got the food, well, haven't quite picked it just yet, but we've got the food in the garden waiting to come in for Christmas Day. Rob says we have peas, sprouts, leeks, parsnips, swede, collie, and cabbage. Oh, and carrots. Excellent. Wow, Steph. Nathan says red cabbage, carrots, sprouts, mixed veg, mash, and potatoes with garlic and onions. Fantastic. How many of you are using your homegrown vegetables for Christmas this year is another question I want to ask. I put my hand up for that. Pretty much everything. In fact, no, everything will be homegrown. I am no cook and actually hate cooking in all honesty, so it has to be easy. Be glad when it's all over, to be honest. I've got to admit, there's a lot of pressure for one day for not just cooks, but for everybody. I think Christmas has become a little bit inflated, a little bit commercial, that there's so much pressure that everybody feels they have to do everything just right. Swig of coffee just coming up. As you know, I am the Grinch. I do not like Christmas. I don't like the run up to Christmas, in all honesty. Although I'm still in Whamageddon. That's the only bit I don't do like. I haven't been sent to Whamhalla just yet. But I am the Grinch. I don't like the run up to Christmas. And I hate the way people put everything off till after Christmas. But I do like Christmas Day. I'm going to say that. That's one thing I do. We will use mostly from the allotment, fresh and frozen. I've got no problem with you using, well, I've got no problem what you do, of course, but if you're using frozen home produce, then that's just as good as well. Our peas and sweet corn will be our home frozen produce. David says, get my words out. David Williams, so we tasted some gorgeous red cabbage whilst dining out of late. Seems to be a bit of a trend. Red cabbage recipes, please. Indeed, red cabbage recipes. So what I tend to do with red cabbage is in my slow cooker. I'll put a layer of red cabbage, apple, red cabbage, apple, red cabbage, apple, add a splash of red wine vinegar and a bit of, I'm trying to think, is it a bit of cinnamon, a bit of sugar, and then just pull it on a slow cooker and just let that cook just very, very gently. I've got a really itchy chest now. And that for me is my red cabbage recipe, but everyone has other ideas. Every day I eat what I grow and forage. Excellent, excellent. It's what we like to hear. Can't wait to visit Vancouver Island again. Now you've got me remembering that. Kate says, yeah, I'm in Whamhalla. Stay strong, Richard. I'm doing so well this year. I nearly got caught, but we got away with it. Nearly. And when I say nearly, I realised it wasn't Wham. It was just a singer in town. I'm not a big Christmas fan. I'm with you. I'm not a big Christmas fan, but hey ho. Turbot Stream, if I could, I would go away for Christmas, but next door go away, so I feed the cats and I get a nice quiet few days at home. I wish I could go away, but I have to work over Christmas. I have to be on call, so I can't go away, which is really, really annoying. Free birds, roasts, spuds, stuffing, parsnip, carrots, collie, cabbage, swede, pigs in blankets, sprouts, broccoli, cabbage, runner beans, leeks, roast onions, roast mushroom, gravy. Is that all for you? Is that all for you, Digwell? All on your own? Sweden, Brussels, only fresh from the allotment for me, says David. Excellent. Nathan says, cooking for 60 at work, then rushing home to cook for the family on Christmas Day. Crikey, Nathan, you've got a lot on. I know you're obviously a chef by your name, but crikey, you have really got it there, haven't you? That. I don't think I could ever go out to eat on Christmas Day because I would just feel so bad for anybody having to work. Right. Kate says, I'm doing honey mustard ham for Boxing Day. Mentioning red cabbage made me think Digwell's Turkish red cabbages would go great. Oh, that does sound good. What goes into that? Scott says mulled red cabbage, slow cooked cabbage with red wine and mulled spices, sugar, orange, apple, and raisins, finished with red wine vinegar. Excellent, excellent. Turbo Stream says potatoes, swede, cauliflowers, parsnips will be from the allotment, followed by rhubarb crumble from the allotment too. I was looking on my allotment yesterday and I noticed my early rhubarb has started to regrow. It's started to sprout, which is incredibly, incredibly early. Digwell says all that is his, plus enough for a few days of bubble and squeak. That sounds like a week's worth of food, but good show, good show. Must admit, I feel sorry for people who work in the leisure industry at Christmas. Yeah, I do. I mean, I'm not in the leisure industry, but I support the leisure industry. And if a fridge goes down over Christmas in a big hotel or nursing home, that's when I'm likely to get called out. French beans from the plot too. And David, bubble and squeak, best part of any dinner. I do say you've got to have leftovers. Gotta have leftovers. Okay, I'll tell you what we'll do. We're going to have a quick break. Now, I have got two missions to share with you this week. This mission is one that was set a few weeks ago, but the weather just hasn't been on our side, and it was to make the bug snug. So I'm going to show this, and then we'll carry on with the conversation. Okay, so this is a mission that's been in the pipeline for a few weeks, and it was to build a bug snug. As you can see, I'm starting off with some large branches. This is just going to make a tripod, and I've kept them as natural as I possibly could using the cuttings of my elder tree. Now, to hold it all together in place, I'm just using some standard garden twine, something I do like to use a lot of and highly recommend that we all use as well. This is just tied around the top, and the three branches are being held together to form a tripod. Once that was built, we put some broken terracotta pots on the ground underneath just to create a bit of a home for some insects or some wildlife. And then we covered it over with a few branches and twigs as well, and also quite a few leaves. And this is what it looked like when completed. Bit of an interesting take. We can of course add more and more leaves to it as we go on through, should we be required. Bit of a tricky one to pull off, this one, over the last few weeks, but we've done it now. Now, is this mission accomplished or mission failed? You decide. Indeed, is that mission accomplished or mission failed? This is one that was set many, many weeks ago, but we just haven't been able to pull it off because the weather hasn't been on our side. But you let me know, mission failed or mission accomplished. Rob says, I would never go out for Christmas lunch. I'm with you. I never would. I don't think it's right. I'm not one for that says that people shouldn't work over Christmas, but I just couldn't do it myself. However, if you are, well, I won't get into that. Actually, I won't get into that. You ever visit the island, please do drop by and enjoy the day at the food forest. Going to cut the roses. I am having free range beef with spotted prawns. See you, athletes. You take care. If I'm ever that way again, I will give you a shout. We do love it there. So we got Hugs and Sunshine. Oh yeah. I'd live there. Where would you live? Where would you live? Where would you live? Mission passed and mission accomplished, says Hargrave and Rob. Excellent, excellent. Rob says, once I have had my dinner, I have a glass or two, then sleep. I tend to have my dinner and then I'll just go in the front room with Roxy. We'll open our presents, have a chat. I've got a cheese board for afters as well because I'm not having sugar, so I'm sticking with cheese and protein, as you know. I'm trying to lose weight. But let's bring it back. Let's bring it back. Is there anything out there that we haven't really covered? Has anybody got any real tips? I think the chefs in the audience tonight will probably have some of the best tips on how to really be efficient at cooking this Christmas dinner, because it's a big lot, and I'm sure you do have some good tips to share. Let's hear some. Digwell says, I go to the daughters for Boxing Day, and then they insist I take a big bowl of B&S, Bubble and Squeak, to feed the 20 or so guests. That explains why you need why you cook so much on Christmas Day, then, doesn't it? Now, 20 or so guests for Bubble and Squeak. Like I say, in some ways, I think that's the bit I look forward to most, the Christmas dinner. Digwell says, in your bug hotel, wake up, buddy. With you. Sorry. I'm with you. Oh, my eye is itchy. I'm with you. Sorry, buddy. I'm with you. You would live in my bug snug, as it's called. Yeah. Scott says, I'm happy. I don't have to cook Christmas dinner on Wednesday. Just gone at work. We went through 40 kilos of turkey. And I don't think anyone that works with me wants to see a sprout for a year or two. Now, sprouts are always one of those interesting vegetables. I grow them every year. I have to admit, I quite like sprouts. But this year, my sprouts are pretty small. But my real question is, who here Or does anybody here actually like sprouts? I'm going to put my hand up because I do like sprouts. I think they are tasty. To me, they're like mini cabbages. They're just full of flavour. The reason I think most people don't like sprouts is when they get overcooked. I only really cook them for 5 minutes at the most, but this year, because they're so small, we're probably looking nearer 2-3 minutes. The thing with sprouts, it takes a while. You've got to peel out the outer leaves, put a cross in them to make sure the heat penetrates into them. They are quite a time-consuming vegetable. It takes a while to prep. Idaho says, I've been invited to have Christmas dinner with some friends who are carnivores. They're barbecuing thick cut lamb chops. I offered to bring a green salad. They looked confused and shrugged. You got to have salad. You got to have a salad. If you're having something like that, you got to have a salad as well. I don't know why people turn their nose up at salads. I like salads, especially with a barbecue or something. Stuart says he loves sprouts. Rob says, I love sprouts mashed up with spuds. Yep, I'm with you. Rebecca says, yes, I never used to, but I like them now. What changed? What changed? Rebecca says, sprout me up. Idaho says, I like sprouts. Hannah Jones, I think, doesn't like them. Rob says, I like my sprouts soft. And Andrew says, I had sprouts for lunch today. Fantastic, fantastic. Tabo Stream says, my sprouts have blown. I don't really like sprouts and only grow them for my Christmas dinner, but I don't like sprouts. I know people that every year they will put a single sprout on their plate just to make sure they still don't like it. I don't know why. I like sprouts. Maybe I'm just odd like that, but I do like sprouts and I will eat them quite happily. I like them roasted with bacon. What I like to do, I'll parboil them and then just cook them in a bit of cook some bacon in a pan, and then just toss them in the sprouts in with the bacon in the pan. I think they taste great. I saw a bloke do a taste test of sprouts today. I've yet to watch it. Try roast sprouts drizzled with a honey mustard dressing. Oh, now you're talking. Now you're talking. Rebecca says, I forced myself to eat them because they are so good for you. Okay, interesting. Do you think the reason that most people don't like them is because they're forced them at school, when I think they were often overcooked at school? They certainly were in my schools. They were almost like well, they just had no flavour to them when they were so overly cooked. Sprouts are my favourite vegetables, says Scott. I roast them. Absolutely beautiful. A lot of people like roasted sprouts. Interesting. Very interested. Rob says chocolate-covered sprouts are nice. They do them at a local pub for Halloween. I've heard that. I have heard that. I've yet to try it, but I think one day I would. Nathan says sprouts with bacon and chestnuts. How do you cook that? How do you cook that? Is that similar to what I do with my bacon and sprouts, where basically you just cook the sprouts, and in another pan cook some bacon chopped up, and just add the sprouts to cook in the bacon fat? What do you say? Or how do you cook, or how do you add the chestnuts to that mix? Idaho. Wrong one. Idaho says my school never served sprouts. Missed out, didn't you? Missed out. We loved our sprouts. Well, I love my sprouts at school, but they're even better these days. Andrew says, yes, sprouts with bacon and chestnuts. That's another great idea. Yeah, nice. Digwell says, there was a variety test I tested today on Woxton that I will not grow again. They tasted like poor man's white cabbage. Not that nice. Interesting. I'm going to have to watch your video, Digwell, and find out more. Turbo Stream, I've roasted sprouts and they are borderline acceptable, but I doubt I will grow them again, but we'll probably end up buying a pack of 15p ones, but I still don't like sprouts. Now, Turbo Streams actually came up with something that has got me thinking quite a bit. Now, we've said that Christmas can be quite an expensive time. The Christmas dinner can be quite an expensive time. But you usually find that supermarkets, they'll sell a bag of Christmas veg for something like 24p. There's usually swede and sprouts and carrots in there. But I'm not a fan of them. Don't get me wrong, I think that's a great food, great thing to do. But I just think that it's so much better to grow our own Christmas dinner that tastes a lot better, tastes much more healthier, just much more full of flavour and so much fresher as well. Graham says shred them thinly and stir fry with bacon and chestnuts. Oh, nice, nice, nice. I'm going to give it a try this year. Try roasted sprouts with hot honey and feta. Recent podcast dish. Good combo. Yeah, that's a good one, that actually. Idaho says, but I think when sprouts are boiled and overcooked, they are disgusting. Exactly. 5 minutes at the most is all it takes to boil sprouts. Never had sprouts at school, just far too strong, says Anna. Missed out as well. I mean, I know I went to quite a rural school, but I would have thought every school did did sprouts. Chestnuts come pre-cooked in a bag, so just add them to a tray of roasting sprouts with bacon if liked. Oh, I'm going to try it. It's hard to know what to do, really, isn't it, sometimes? Tell me, I will pick the sprouts I did grow and probably will fry them with bacon, as that seems a good way to eat them. Bacon is the answer. Oh, we can't do bacon because I'm vegetarian. Damn. Not seen it yet. Been busy work-wise, says Rob. Cannot do the bacon for the sprouts. I'm going to have to think of something else, won't I? Digwell, I brought a load of 29p veggies from Tesco last year. Some were a bit bland if eaten on their own, but acceptable in a roast with everything, especially gravy. So, who here, when it comes to the gravy, who here is making the gravy from all the juices and not using a powder granules for gravy? I'm going to be making mine from all the juices and the gravy and the stock and all the everything else. But I do like our gravy. I only remember chocolate concrete from school dinners. Yeah, school dinners were bad. They're not much better these days, to be honest. What have we got? Digwer says, yes, do them with chestnuts then. Yeah, I'm going to have to only do our sprouts with chestnuts. It's going to be the only way to do it, I think. That's rather annoying. That is rather annoying. Andrew says, no, pre-cooked sprouts. No. Well, we're talking about how we can make Christmas dinner and that little bit easier this year. Not so much pre-cooking them, but as we've said, with the roast vegetables, we're going to pre-cook those the day before if we can. Potatoes, parsnips, carrots, everything else. And then they should roast up much, much better. That's what we're saying. That's what we're talking about today. Turbo Stream says, I am a granular gravy man for a reluctant cook. It's easier. Nothing wrong with it. Nothing wrong. Many people were surprised that granular is not the real gravy. I've had many conversations with people who seem surprised that there is other types of gravy out there. For me, and being a Yorkshire bloke, any roast is all about the gravy. A good tip is using chicken wings, roasting them with stock vegetables, and using it as a base for gravy. Let's hear a recipe on that, Scott, if you can. Let's give us a bit of a tip or a bit of a recipe on making gravy, because love to hear more about it. Chili Kate says, the butcher gives me the giblets that I use to make stock for my gravy with roasting juices added too. Again, let's hear your recipes for the gravy. I'll get a few people inspired with that. Not using any gravy powder granules, as I will buy a pouch of gravy. No real juices to speak of from my roasts. Excuse me. I'm very windy today, I'm afraid to say. Yeah, I mean, for me, I will get my giblets from the turkey, and I'll make a stock up using that. And then when we take the turkey out the oven, excuse me, when we take the turkey out the oven, we would use that all the juice or get the pan out, squash all the vegetables that we put in the base of that, add some of the cooked bacon as well, and then just really get all those juices and the skim off the fat, and then mix the two together with a bit of flour, corn flour particularly, to really thicken it up. We should have some decent gravy. It's a bit more work, and I think as Turbo Stream, gravy granules. My gravy recipe is 1 teaspoon of granulated gravy, a bit of boiling water, and stir. Sorry, it's simple, isn't it? With gravy granules, it is simple and it works. So there's nothing wrong with it. I'm just of the opinion now we try and use every single bit of when I've always said this. I'm not a vegan, not a vegetarian, as you can probably gather. But I believe if an animal has died for us to provide us with food, we have to use every single part of it, and that's one of the reasons we make gravy, we make stock. We'll get many meals out of just one bird, not just turkey, chicken, lamb, beef. We make many meals out of it whenever we have a roast, or we make gravy, and stock afterwards as well. Stuart says, don't have time to make gravy from scratch, but if you want to make it, go for it. Again, I agree. This is one of the reasons that I'm trying to this year, we're by being a bit more prepared and taking the tips that you guys have shared, doing a lot of work the day before. I reckon we will have time to make the gravy, because the turkey comes out said 2 hours before, or before we serve. The roast vegetables will go in. We can then just make gravy. Turbo Stream says, I never throw food away, just cook what I need. Nothing wrong with that at all. Rebecca says, did you say what you're having for dessert? I am having cheese and grapes and crackers for my dessert, because I'm not eating sugar. Or try not to eat sugar. I think I will have mince pies next Sunday, though. I will say that, mince pies. I'm trying to think that's one thing our family is bringing, is the desserts. I think there's going to be I have to ask Amanda about that. I can't remember what we said. Don't think we're having Christmas cake. I can't remember. Maybe a chocolate log, but I'm not eating it, like I said. Digwell says, I bought a tub of Bisto limited edition winter spice gravy granules. Yuck. In the bin after one meal. Even my kids would not take them off my hands. And because they were open, the food bank couldn't. That bad, was it? Really that bad? I agree with you, Richard. We have the duty to use every bit of an animal. I totally agree with that. I totally think that. Beto says, how about getting a turkey and chips in the pub? Oh, what, next Sunday? In the pub quiz next Sunday? It's certainly, well, we're going to have mince pies next Sunday. I think I said earlier, on Christmas Day, I don't think I could ever go out for meal on Christmas Day. And there's people in the audience tonight who are working on as a chef on Christmas Day, and I feel for you guys. I really do. Turbo Stream, I would love to be a good cook, but it doesn't interest me. It needs to be easy and quick. Nothing wrong with it being easy and quick. Nothing wrong with being easy and quick at all. Some of the best recipes are usually quick and easy ones, and keep it simple. There's nothing worse than slaving over the oven for hours upon hours to cook a meal that nobody likes. So, Scott, here we go. 1 pack of chicken wings, carrots, onions, celery, garlic, thyme, rosemary, roast in a pan, then add to a pan with wine and stock. Reduce and finish with a gluten-free Bisto gravy powder. Fantastic. Digwet says, homemade Christmas pud for me with a rum sauce and chocolate orange Yule log. Nice. cheese for me. I've been buying all these different types of cheeses to have on for my pudding. Even when we've gone out for something to eat, which is very rare, but we went out in September and last month, I think, with friends. I'm even having cheese boards as my dessert then because I'm just not eating sugar. Don't want to eat sugar. My go-to gravy granules are Morrison onion gravies. Morrison onion granules, vegan too. Excellent, excellent. Again, I like a nice onion gravy when we make that as well. It's delicious, I think. It is delicious. Adrian says, I'm trying to give up sugar too, along with ultra processed foods too. Yep, I'm with you on completely on that. We want to, I think when we grow our own, like we do here, we don't tend to eat a lot of processed foods anyway. And natural sugars are something we are, I guess, hard to avoid because they're in everything. But I definitely think we are there. We are definitely losing weight. So that's the important thing. It's difficult at this time of year, though. Graham says salted caramel meringue and black forest roulade for me this year. Anybody else? What are you having for your pudding on Christmas Day? It's like a proper 3-course meal this year, isn't it, for many of us? Well, certainly here. Can't wait. Can't wait. I've got to try and spread it out so I'm not filling up on too much on the starters. Yeah. Adrian says the gravy is UPF, but only once a week. UPF, ultra processed food. Yeah. Scott says if not chicken wings, use any bones. I always buy whole chicken because it's cheaper, and you have the bones. One chicken can do 4 meals in my house. Again, I'm with you because that's what we tend to do when we have a chicken or turkey. Once we cook the chicken and the turkey, we take away all the meat, and then we put those bones into a slow cooker with a bit of water and some seasoning and a few vegetables to make a stock. And we end up with a freezer full of stock, but it really is some of the best stock we can ever make. And it just means that everything gets used. I know stock shouldn't, you can make stock from uncooked bones as well, but we tend to cook them first. Idaho says, I remember when my parents cooked an entire turkey dinner, fully cooked and prepared. I was kind of shocked, but I'm beginning to like the idea of someone else doing the cooking. Yeah, I like doing the cooking though on Christmas Day. Beto says, spent one Christmas in a posh London hotel. All my presents were delivered from Hamleys. Santa was too busy, at least. That's what Dad said. Well, that's very lovely, isn't it, Betos? How long ago was that? You must have been quite young. Oh, bless. Right, let's have a quick look. Let's see if we can bring this up and I can do it right. And I've screwed it up. Hang on. Let's have a look at your photos. If I can no, not that one. That's the one. It's the one we want. Your photos. So, not many photos, but Shipyard, Gardner and Finney, SPB. I don't think I've seen those tonight, but they have been having a Christmas party in their allotment. They said we wish we were all there as well. Unfortunately, we can't make it, but Christmas party nonetheless. Now, Steve, he's been choosing his seeds from the Heritage Seed Collection. So I understand if you're a member, you get to choose 6 packs of seeds every year for being a member. He's gone for Doody, Tower Hamlets, Pepper Curry, Tomato Kenilworth / King George, Tomato Small Pear-Shaped, Tomato Tiger Tom, Tomato Raisin Tube. One of Kate's seeds from the She Grows Veg Advent Calendar. If you haven't seen this, the She Grows Veg has brought out an Advent Calendar this year, 24 different packs of seeds. And Kate very kindly has been sharing her seed collection that she's brought in the Facebook group. So if you want to check that out, this was a couple of days ago, but every day she's posted an image of what seeds she's getting. I've got to say, it's quite an interesting collection. I particularly like these GoldenEye beetroot, though, because I thought they looked quite fascinating. Now, Nicola's getting a new chicken coop. She's been having trouble with foxes, as she's told us many, many times. And this is what she's coming up with. It looks something quite sturdy. I'd be surprised if a fox can get into that. Now, Kate has also, Chili Kate, this is, shared the end of November plot shot. And as you know, we've been collecting everybody's, or trying to get everybody to take a photo of their allotment, either at the end of the month, beginning of the month, and see the progress throughout the year. If everybody's been doing that, we're going to look forward to seeing what you have in a couple of weeks' time, or how your allotment has evolved throughout the year. I think that is the last photo. Yeah, that is. I haven't added an end screen because next week, as I said, we're doing the annual pub quiz, so we probably won't be can you see me all okay? I'll just let's bring that up. We won't be probably won't be doing any photos or anything next week. Oh, something's gone wrong there and I can't see what it is. Right, where were we? There we go. Turbo Stream says, my pudding will be the rhubarb crumble for me allotment with a small amount of custard. I don't like Christmas pudding either. Perhaps also we'll add some frozen berries on top from the allotment. Custard is another one, isn't it? Custard is so easy to make, an egg custard from scratch, but yet often it's bought in a tin or in powder form as well. Anybody raise their hands whenever they make custard from eggs? Digwell says, I'm not over fussed about processed foods. Let's face it, humans only started to eat veg in earnest 12,000 years ago. Before that, we were just meat eaters. We are changing all the time. Were we meat eaters before that, or did we just eat whatever was available? I don't know. I wasn't around there. I'm not that old, I'm afraid to say. It was roughly 55 years ago. I think Dad still had the bill when we sold the house. Fantastic. What memory, though. I mean, I know I did say I could never go out to eat on Christmas Day, but what a memory to have at the same time. Rob says, okay, folks, I am now watching the football. We'll leave the chat on. Who's playing tonight? Scott says, yeah, you can do a brown or white stock. A brown sauce is made from roasted bones. Brown stock is best, but uses for both. Absolutely, absolutely. Stuart, oh yeah, just a reminder. Don't forget to like, follow, subscribe, click the notifications so that you know when we go live. Let's help spread the word. Indeed, it's always good to get a bit of conversation going. Turbo Stream says, I need to sort out my end of year photo montage. My painful shoulder set me back this year. It's been a hard year for everyone. And I think we've got to bear that in mind. It has been a hard year. I love rhubarb, says Idaho. Me too. Meat was the main part of the meal. Now veg is the main part of the meal is what I meant. Right, with you. Yeah. But the thing is, meat was the main part because we weren't around then, do we? We don't really know exactly how they survived, but yeah. Homemade custard for me, says Digwell. Absolutely. You can't beat it, can you? Cannot beat homemade custard. Now, I haven't made a video for the cook along this week. Instead, what it was to use sprout tops. So I've got, these are actually sprout leaves. Now, we've spoken a lot about Brussels sprouts, but did you know you can actually also eat the leaves and the top of the Brussels sprouts as well? And you will hear the recipe that I've made this with. But basically, the idea is you take the top of or take a few leaves off your Brussels sprout plant, cut the hard central core bit away of the leaf, roll the leaf up into a cigar shape and slice that. And then in a pan, bit of butter, bit of olive oil, and a bit of crushed garlic. Cook that until the garlic is soft, only over a gentle heat, and then add all those chopped leaves. And this is what we get. How well it will taste is the question. Oh, that's nice. That is nice, actually. That garlicky flavour really goes through that. So if you are cooking something on Christmas Day and you want to make the most out of your Brussels sprout plants, don't forget to cook the tops at the same time. Every week I subscribe, unsubscribe, like, unlike, and a comment, then uncomment. Just to be awkward, eh? Scott says a spiced plum compote goes great with Christmas pudding. Stewed plums with cinnamon, star anise, and sugar cuts through the richness. Absolutely. Digwell says, me too. I leave it unsubbed if the show is crap. Oh, I bet you do. I bet you do. I don't blame you either. So, let's get rid of that comment then. Right. Let's carry on the conversation, of course. What I'm going to ask everybody, is there anybody else got any questions or anything they want to throw out and ask about this Christmas dinner? And any tips that anybody else wants to throw out or get some ideas on? Hit us up in the comments and let us know. I think I've pretty much covered everything. I think as long as I prepare it all the day before, we should be okay. We should get everything cooked in advance and we should really be ready to go. Tigral says, stop it, buddy. I already have mine sussed for this year. So, talking about the spiced plum compote, of course, yeah. Stuart says, sprout tops are a waste product in the industry, but not in my garden. That is true. They are a waste product. But also, I've always said it's good to get more than one item out of your plants. So like beetroot, one of the reasons I like growing beetroot is because, of course, you get the roots, but you also get the leaves as well. But Brussels sprouts are in that same vein. You can get 2 crops out of that one plant, which, again, if we were to go back into rationing times, I'm not saying we will, I'm not going to say anything about that, but if we were to go back into rationing times, that's the type of thing we really need to think about doing, because we need to eat as much as what we produce as possible. Turbo Stu says, what do you do for Boxing Day with the leftovers then? Oh, good question. That is a very good question. So for me, to be honest, it'd be bubble and squeak, where basically everything gets thrown in a pan, bit of olive oil, squashed down and made into the bit like an omelette type thing. Nothing difficult about that. But also turkey sandwiches. Trying to think what else we do. Turkey sandwiches, turkey curry we make with some of the leftovers as well. Do love a good turkey curry, and I can't think what else. Off the top of my head. Turkey sandwiches. We've made like a turkey chili con carne with the leftovers as well, with turkey rice as well. That's another thing, like a Chinese type rice, but with turkey in its place.
Turkey noodle soup.
Oh, Christ.
Turkey rice.
As a man.
Turkey rice and peas.
Turkey rice, turkey noodle soup, turkey rice and peas. Amanda's just scared the crap out of me by shouting around the corner. What we having? What is being brought for pudding on Christmas Day? What's being brought for pudding on Christmas Day?
There's a bake-off between my cousin and my aunt.
What are they bringing?
There is a bake-off between my cousin and my aunt.
Cousin and aunt are having a bake-off.
That's all I know.
Southampton and Spurs are playing according to Rob. Idaho says, to Scott, that sounds yummy. Turbo Stream, I will pick the brown sprouts as leaves and then do something with them. I don't want to waste them if I can help it. Yeah, I mean, obviously, if the leaves are yellow, don't eat those. But the green leaves, they are edible. Absolutely edible. Digwet says, you have missed out, kids. Feed them first. If all they want is peas and spuds, then do not force anything else on them. Not the day for tantrums. Pot them on their own table in the corner, out of the way. Interesting. I've never really thought of that. I mean, we don't have kids here, so never really been a problem. But yeah. Digwell says turkey curry is another leftover. Absolutely. Rebecca says turkey, leek, and pie. Turkey and leek pie. That sounds nice. How do you make that? Scott says Thai green salad with leftover turkey meat. Hard to beat. I forgot one of my favourite, turkey stir fry as well. Basically, just stir fry any vegetables and add some turkey and a bit of seasoning and things like that. Turkey quesadillas. And hi, Amanda, says Kate. Amanda will be in the pub with us next week as well for the quiz. Well, you eat the kids first, apparently. Turkey nasi goreng, turkey pies, chili, curry. Yeah, lots of good ideas there. Lots of good ideas indeed. Graham says turkey and stuffing pasties. Ooh, that sounds nice. Turkey and stuffing pasties. Go on, tell us more about how you make those. That sounds quite interesting. I like the idea of that. Rebecca says it's a Jamie Oliver recipe. Don't say Jamie Oliver in front of Amanda. She cannot stand that bloke. Well, the whole one long story about that, but we won't get into that. I know I shouldn't say that because my best friend works with him, but she can't stand him. Did we have one more thing? We've done that? Ah, there was another mission you set me last week. And the mission was to write a mission statement for what we're going to do next year. So I have written a mission statement, and my plan for next year is or the mission statement for 2025, to continue to encourage and inspire more people to grow their own food in whatever space they have, continue to foster a community of like-minded growers who will share advice, share tips, and share their experience. But the real mission statement that we're going to do here as a personal mission statement is to try and grow as much food as possible with the aim to try and produce £8,000 worth of food in my allotment and my garden. Sounds a lot, but I think actually we can do it, especially when we grow some high value crops. So that's the mission statement for 2025. Hopefully that will make sense, and hopefully that's another mission accomplished. Idaho says, I'll make enchiladas, tacos, and burrito. I cannot get a word out tonight. And soup with leftovers. Good idea. Good idea. I love the idea of all these things. Has Amanda been on the nettle wine? No, I'm going to say that. Digwell says, nice one, Amanda. Me neither. I have never managed to replicate a recipe he has created. My mates at work all spat out his biscuits, and the recipe was followed to the letter. Somebody else that doesn't like him either. I have no opinion on the bloke. I've never met him, so I don't know. Chili Cake says, I am the queen of turkey, ham, and leek pie. Filling is made with a white sauce made with half milk and half turkey stock, with leftover turkey and ham and sauteed leeks. Oh, that sounds lovely. Half milk, half turkey stock. Is there any flour added to that to thicken up the sauce? Or how do you make this white sauce? Chance to share all your recipes as well. Sounds delicious and sounds great. I love this idea. Absolutely love this idea. Turbo Stream, my mission is to grow more food, make the plot easier to work, and hopefully I can give loads away, assuming I grow more than last year. I think next year is going to be better than this year. It can't be any worse, can it? Spurs are apparently winning 3-0 after just 13 minutes. That must be a good thing, I guess. I don't know. I don't really follow football. Digwell says, who are Spurs? Aren't they Tottenham Hotspurs, if I remember correctly? Because my brother-in-law supports them. My ex-brother-in-law, I should say now. Right, I'm trying to bring this screen over here so I can see. I don't know. I can't quite bring it up quite right. Over on Instagram, Homefront Co has joined. I know, Sid, when you first said you were growing 800 pounds of food, I was thinking, oh my gosh, 4 tons. Then you said value, and I got it. LOL. That must be that's obviously a bit of a problem, I guess, when I often talk about how the value of the food that we grow. Um, because I always say pounds, which is, of course, what we would say in Britain. But I guess, could we convert that to dollars? What's that in dollars? I can't work it out off the top of my head. Chili Get says 25 grams of butter with 25 grams of flour in the pan. Cook it out slightly. Add the milk and the stock to make that white sauce. I'm going to give that a try as well. That sounds absolutely delicious. Can't wait for that. Cannot wait to try this. As I said, I think one of my favorite things is what we do with the leftovers. Don't get me wrong, it's great having the actual turkey dinner, but I get more excited about the leftovers as well. Getting that really nice, delicious turkey and all those delicious vegetables into different things that we can use and actually add a bit of flair to make them interesting. I mean, by the end of the week, I'm absolutely sick and tired of turkey, but it's still there. It's still there. It still has to be eaten, and that's why I think I said on the podcast recently about stir fries, because they're just so light and easy to cook, especially when you're very, very busy with turkey just thrown in the pan. Right, next week we are going to be doing our annual pub quiz. I've got the questions all sorted out. I've had a couple of people volunteer to do a video asking the questions, which I will get sent to you in the next few days. Anybody else would like to record a video asking a question, then please do drop us a line and say what you would and say you would be happy. I've got the question, so I'll just send you the question to ask. Won't tell you the answer, but if you could ask a question, that would be great. Turbo Stream says, I don't know what I grow as in money, but I do know for the most part I'm self-sufficient in vegetables from my allotment. Probably 70% of my produce is home grown. Yeah, I mean, I like to try and work out the value of what we grow for in terms of content of sharing on the podcast. All it is, every time I harvest something, I make a note of it and weigh it, and that's it really. But that's because as a content creator, podcaster, I need to add some sort of value to what I'm saying. But if you are 70% of if you're basing it on self-sufficiency and you're 70% self-sufficient, then that is all you need to know. That is all that is important. We are probably about 90% self-sufficient in veg. Bit different this year thinking about it, because squashes and beans were a failure. Well, pumpkins and butternut squashes anyway. But cucumbers and everything else did very, very well. But we have produced, what was it, £6,500 worth of food, I calculated. Digwell says £1 is around $1.26. So £8,000 would be roughly $10,000 of food. Is that about right? And is that a lot? It depends, doesn't it? That's awesome. Turbo Stream, thanks, IG. Yeah, $10,000. I think, I don't know how, I'm told that food is really expensive across the pond in America these days compared to the UK, but I don't know. Turbo Stream says 70% of fudge, 70% of veg, not total food eaten. I should make clear. No. So I know we're moving away from the whole Christmas dinner subject now, but I've always said one of the things that I like to do is that try and get self-sufficient in what we can, in our vegetables, our eggs. I'd love to have bees for honey as well, but that's not going to happen. But what I've always said, what we like to do, or what we should be able to aim to do, is that because we are self-sufficient in vegetables, we're growing all our own vegetables, our food budget can then be spent on higher quality food or higher quality meats and things that we can't grow. So we're currently eating a lot of sort of grass fed beef and steak and things like that. It costs a fortune, but it's so much better, and that's why we are quite keen on grow your own. Digrat says, I did a price comparison thingy a few years ago, but I gave up because it was taking too much time. A sprig of rosemary is £50, 50p, half a kilo of spuds, 30p, etc., etc. So what I personally do each week, I just allow, probably should increase the prices now, but I would allow £1 for things like herbs and salad leaves. Probably should be £2 now, because a bag of salad leaves is £1.50. We go through that easily a week. So each week I just allow a couple of quid for herbs, because picking herbs don't take much. And when it comes to spuds, we tend to harvest a lot in one go and eat those, and that's when I weigh them. So that's how I did it anyway. If you wanted to weigh everything pound for pound, that'd take forever. But things like salad leaf and herbs are just allowed a certain amount each week. My mission for 2025 is to grow more food at home, not to save money, but to help me relax more, as I really need the garden to help keep healthy in my mind and body. Good mission, good challenge, actually. That's a good thing to say, actually. I'd like to hear yours as well. Digwell, no real mission for me, just want to enjoy life. Most important thing, be healthy, enjoy life, and so on. Idaho says, before I really focused on growing a vegetable garden, I would buy all kinds of food, not in season. Now that I grow my own veg, I eat that instead, but I still can't grow that for the whole year. I still try. Well, the trouble you have, Idaho, is that you have winters that are very, very harsh. So it would almost be impossible to grow anything in those winters. But unless you've got the what are they called, greenhouses and things like that, you're going to struggle. You are going to struggle in the winter months. But if you're doing it the other 9 months of the year and you can freeze as much of your own produce, then that's good. Rob says, who is bringing the year? Well, who is bringing the beer next Sunday? Well, hopefully the barman will, but we know what he's like. He's pretty slow at bringing out drinks. We never see him all night, do we? Turbo Stream says, I certainly don't buy shop veg very often. If I do, it's frozen sweet peppers, butternut squash that I can't seem to grow. Hopefully 2025 is a year I get butternut squash on the plant. Mine rotted this year. It's been a difficult year for squashes, so hopefully 2025 is going to be the year. Idaho says, my original goal was to be able to inexpensively feed my family. I still have that goal. And Turbo Stream, I freeze most of my vegetables and soft fruit for the winter. Indeed, I think that is ultimately what we need to do. There's nothing wrong with using a freezer or preserving our produce throughout the winter for use in the winter months. Yeah. So, as I said, next Sunday we're going to be doing our pub quiz. Which should be a lot of fun, as we always enjoy these pub quizzes. Amanda will be joining me. We're not going to do any missions next week. We will be having mince pies that I'm going to cook, but we're not going to do any missions or anything like that, because the pub quiz do tend to take quite a long time to go through. So we'll just stick to the pub quiz next Sunday. The following Sunday, which will be on New Year's, we want to talk about what have we learned from 2024, and then we'll be back in 2025 to really get this year up and running. Digwell says, forgot one, roasted garlic for the Christmas dinner. Tell me more about this roasted garlic. What are you getting at there? What are you telling us about roasted garlic? Turbo Stream says, I'm currently enjoying my black currants and blackberry with kefir yogurts. I used to make my own kefir. I haven't done it for a long time now, but I used to make my own kefir when I was really into kefir. I used to make my own yogurt as well. I don't really, well, I do eat yogurts every day now, but I should probably start making our own again. But I ended up making so much of it, it was difficult to keep up. I'll probably get told off if I start making yogurts again anyway. It's quite easy to do. Has anybody ever made yogurt or kefir? It's really easy to do, really. You just need a thermos flask effectively and just add some add some, let's say Greek, if you're making yogurt, get some Greek yogurt, a couple of tablespoons of Greek yogurt, some warm milk to a certain temperature. I can't remember what it is off the top of my head, and pop the two in a thermos flask and leave it overnight. And the next day you've got a nice thick yogurt. Really is that easy to make yogurt. And kefir was something similar, if I remember. I had a starter kit that we made kefir with. I'm not saying it was the most. It was nice. It was very nice. But it wasn't the most cheapest kefir, I don't think, because I was using raw milk to make it. Oh, by the way, anybody got any final thoughts or anything they want to say on the whole Christmas dinner thing as well? Digwell says, just cut the whole garlic bulb in half across the cloves and roast in with the rest of the veg. Pop the bits out pop the bits out of the skins onto your plate. Oh, so you're just literally roasting the garlic to add a bit of garlic flavor to your Christmas dinner. Is that basically what you're doing? Again, I like garlic. I use garlic a lot, so I'm all for it. Over on Instagram, the Gur Gardener has joined. I think that's how it's pronounced. Gur Gardener. We've got a couple of minutes left tonight before we go anyway. Turbo Stream says, I should have a go, but perhaps next year, as it's quite expensive to buy. We went through a lot of milk when we were making it. That's what I would say. We did go through a lot of milk. Idaho says, I used to make yogurt every week. It was great. I could start doing it again. I'm thinking the same. I'm thinking exactly the same thing. But I have yogurt every day at work. And should I make it again? Saying that, we go to a farm shop for our milk now. So it would make sense to do it. It would definitely make sense. Very mild garlic taste, roasting garlics like that. Nice. I do like my garlic. I do tend to use it in everything. So I'm with you on that. Right, I think it is time that we start wrapping this one up for tonight. It's been great chatting with you. I hope you've all learned some tips and tricks for your Christmas dinner. If you have, please say yes on your way out. Raise your hand on your way out. We will be back again next Sunday at 6. Where we're going to be at the pub quiz, as I've said, and we're going to have a few mince pies on the go, and Amanda will be joining me, which hopefully means Roxy might make an appearance as well. Digwell says, your own yogurt will be free of additives. Indeed it will. And Turbo Stream, that went quick. Have a good week, everyone. Indeed, have a good week. Podcast will be out tomorrow. I've got a bit on pruning, and then I'm starting to take it easy for the Christmas period. I'll still be doing content over Christmas, but I'm just starting to slow it down. I need to prepare myself to get out. I think we have covered everything. I can't think of anything that we've forgotten. Idaho says, I think you have to heat the milk until just before it boils. You don't want to boil it. Yeah, you heat the milk until it boils, and then you let it cool down to a certain temperature then you add it to the yogurt. If it's too hot, it will kill off the yogurt and won't do its thing. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. Right, guys, we will be back again next Sunday at 6. So until then, please take care.